Tucker McCombs, man, it's great to be with you, my friend.
Yeah, good to be on the boat with you.
Up here in the wheelhouse of the Endeavor, we're heading back from a great Friedman Adventures trip. Every single person down there on deck, all the passengers, are raving about the great day we had, the customer service, the food. Man,
Yeah.
It was a really fun time.
Yeah, the Seabass slipped us. We we had good Seabass fishing yesterday. We had high hopes for today, but they did what they normally do, and we're kind of gone today. But they're kind of notorious for that. So what can you do?
I mean, that happens,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We gave it a good shot. That's all you can do every day is try, and hopefully you come out on top.
We had bitchin' weather, didn't we?
Yeah, that was kind of the highlight of the day. We had really nice weather. It was really rainy last night, but today it kind of cleared up, and we had very little wind. Nice conditions. We're flat the whole time. Couldn't ask for more with that.
So let's just get this out of the way right up front. How do we contact Ventura Sportfishing? You got a fleet of boats up here. I love fishing up here.
VenturaSportfishing.com is the best way to check out the schedule and see what boats are online and what they're catching, obviously, with the fish counts. Or you can call the landing at 676-3474.
I know that number by heart. Yeah, you see
676 fish. Yeah, that's
exactly.
it. Yeah,
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the best way to check out the schedule is going to the website probably, but and see what the boats are catching.
Part of the beauty of fishing up here is, so we missed on the Seabass, man, you got the fallback, which is just excellent rock fishing all the time.
Yeah.
We had that today. Everybody's going home with a bunch of fish.
Yeah,
That's kind of the given, right?
Yeah, we only had like an hour or two to kill, to fill up the bags, because obviously we failed you miserably on the Seabass. So
I'm still pissed at you about that.
But being able to catch like close to limits of cod and a bunch of whitefish, just so that everybody has fish to go home with. The nuclear option, put some fish in the bags. The opportunity for that is really good up at the Channel Islands for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about 2023 specifically. It's kind of a cold water year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a lot colder, surprisingly cold. Up at Santa Rosa, where we've been seeing the sea bass, the water is like 54 to 55 degrees lately, which I think we were in the low 60s last year at this time. So it's been cooler water, kind of dirty water, because once everything starts to straighten out, from what I've seen, we'll get a blow for like 1 or 2 days, and it kind of rolls the water over. Yeah. So it's been like green, dirty green to clean green the whole time, but we're still seeing fish. This year it seems like there's quite a bit of sea bass around, but it's being finicky, squirrely. It's hard to they never stay in one area for very long. But the good news is there is a good amount of fish, and they do bite when you find them, it seems like.
Do you find that they're more finicky when the water's cooler? Do they bite better when it gets up to 16 above?
Yeah, so what I noticed when the water's colder, early season in the spring, the fish are more condensed. They're tighter spots of them, moving around quicker, and they're not like spread out feeding on squid. I'm sure at some point during the day they'll be on the squid ground spread out feeding like we're kind of used to with squid bed fishing. Yeah. But this time of the year it seems like the fish are condensed, and we're stopping on tight spots of them and drifting, and they're moving around a lot. So they're when the cooler water is like that, they're harder to locate, but usually they bite. Yeah. But when the water warms up a little bit, they kind of mellow out, get on the squid, and it's a little bit more of a predictable bite.
Yeah. Is it silly for me to ask you for a tackle recommendation? Does that change from day to day, from time to time, or do you have a tackle recommendation? Or?
The 90% of the time in the Channel Islands, up this way for sea bass and for halibut, we're using live squid. You saw last night we staying up all night trying to make bait. Yeah. So it's live squid on a dropper loop. Usually we use those Aki Twist, Owner Aki Twist J hooks. Yep. Or the Blacktail makes an Aki Twist, pretty much the same thing. But we use those on a dropper loop, depending on the depth, anywhere from a 4 to an 8 ounce sinker, and 30 to 40 pound test. We usually recommend fluorocarbon. Like I said, 90% of the fish come on the dropper loop. Sometimes it's slider fishing. Usually when the water warms up a little bit, we're catching them on sliders and light heads. Same pound test line. But the latest thing that's been working for us and other boats is the fluke, especially when squid's a little bit less accessible, hard for us to find the squid. You still have an opportunity to catch a sea bass on the white fluke plastic. So It's just something good to have in your tackle box just in case it's tough to make the bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if it's unique to this area up here, but you guys actually kind of run and gun for sea bass sometimes. In fact, I was standing up in the bow with Oscar, great guy. He's a passenger today, and he saw a little shiner of like 10 fish swimming along.
Yeah.
Do you actually do that sometimes?
Oh, yeah. Probably 90% of the time we find sea bass, it's going to be on the sonar first. Things have kind of changed. I think, the sonar technology has gotten better, and we've gotten a little bit better as a fleet at, locating the fish with the sonar. Before, with the older sonars, the sweep was a lot slower.
Yeah.
So it was hard for us to see the sea bass, because the sweep was so slow. So I think the technique to catch them is kind of progressed in a more, yellowtail-esque type fishery,
right,
where we're looking around for a school on the sonar, stopping on them real quick. We don't catch them, then you try to get on the school again. Same type deal. Which
adds another level of excitement to it, if you ask me. I think it's better.
Yeah, the days of just anchoring up on the squid and waiting for them to bite. Sometimes like I said, when the water's warmer, that works out. But lately, early season stuff, it's a lot of looking around and a lot of hoping to get lucky and get on that school.
What other species of fish can people catch up here in the Channel Islands? You got the great rock fishing, you got sea bass.
Halibut's tremendous. Seems like the halibut fishing's really good right now at the local islands. There's boats doing really well on that in the shallow water. I think the water's a little bit too cool and a little bit green up at Rosa for the halibut just yet, but I think, like a couple weeks, maybe on this next moon, the halibut fishing's going to probably pick up there too when the water cleans up. Halibut fishing's always been tremendous at the northern Channel Islands, and then when the water warms up, we also at times have really good yellowtail fishing.
Tucker, one of the guys down on deck, it's kind of fishing 101, but maybe you could address this. He said, how does he know when he's looking at the sonar what's a sea bass, what's a this, what's a that? It just comes from, I would hazard a guess, experience, right?
Yeah, just repetition, trial and error. A lot of guys don't use the sound on the sonar at the islands because there's so much interference and it's just loud. But I leave the sound on. And to me, with my specific sonar, I'm sure other guys feel the same way. Maybe you get so used to hearing it, you hear what they sound like on the sonar. Because a lot of times you'll see them, but you might think it's like a perch, rockfish, or something like that. But the sea bass sound different than that.
Oh, really?
So it makes it easier for us to distinguish what we're stopping on by the way it sounds, not necessarily by the way it looks.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Really crazy stuff. All right, and it sounds to me, tell me if I got this right, while sea bass fishing is a little inconsistent right now, you got a gut feeling that it's going to be another great season. This has been the epicenter for sea bass fishing for several years now.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's headed in that direction.
Oh yeah,
again.
the last I don't know, it's been really good since El Nino. When the water kind of started to mellow out after El Nino, the sea bass fishing kind of got really good again up here, and I'm seeing just as much fish as I have the last few years. When we do see it, it's just like I said, it's squirrely. It's moving around a lot, hard to find, but I'm seeing volume when we are seeing it. So when it kind of settles in and does its thing, it's going to be really good, and I think just as good or better than prior seasons.
All right, I'm excited about that. You know, there's not much room on your boat, man.
Yeah.
You are totally booked up. So I'm going to talk about some other boats, but that is a testament to the way you run your operation, man. I had such a good time from the guys in the galley, from the guys on deck to you. The vibe, the atmosphere on the boat is like, let's have fun. This is not a deadly serious thing. Let's catch some fish and have some fun.
Yeah, we like having fun with the passengers, and you're making it an environment where it's enjoyable. It's not. It is a business for me and the guys, but this is not a commercial fishing boat. We're out here for fun. You catch what you catch, and at the end of the day, what is most important, the people go home and have a good time. So that's the environment that we like to have on all of my boats, especially. But it's just so important to have a good time because no matter what, usually for us, you're going to go home with some fish, you might as well go home and have a smile on your face at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a boat that a lot of the people who are watching this show right now, the Matt Walsh, man.
Yeah.
They fished that so many years out of LA Harbor. Ray Duane owned it for quite some time. You've got her up here now, right? The California.
Yeah. I bought the Matt Walsh, renamed it the Californian. Got some heat over that. Don't really care.
What, people were like, hey, can you change that name?
Yeah, it had been called that for so long.
Yeah.
People, people get weird when you change the name of a boat.
Right.
But what people should be happy about is me taking care of it and continue its legacy as a fishing boat, because that's what it's always been. It was whale watching for a while, which is cool. But I thought it important that the boat, spends its years it has left fishing, where so many people made memories on there for so many years.
She looks beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, we do a lot of work to it every year. Yeah.
So Steve Virtue is running it.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what they try to accomplish on a daily basis. Are they half day? What are they?
Yeah, the Matt Walsh's or Californian is a half day boat. They leave at 7 and they get back, or they leave at 8, sorry, and they get back at 4. So it's an extended half day. Gives you plenty of time to get out to the islands, have a nice relaxing day with the family. That's kind of like, it's good for serious anglers, experienced anglers also, but it's kind of the more family boat. Very stable. It's pretty fast for how wide it is, and stable. It cruises at 9.5 knots, so you can get out to the islands, relatively quickly, have a good day with the family, and it's not as much of a commitment.
You say the family, so beginners sound like they're welcome.
Yeah, we have kids fish free on Sundays. So every paid adult gets to come out with a free child admission on the boat.
16 and under, or what, 12 and under?
12 and under,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So you can bring your kids out, one kid per parent. So it's good boat to get out and not have it bust the bank, especially in today's current economic environment.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Yeah.
And they're focusing on rockfish, but they're also going to focus on sea bass and
Whatever's,
halibut and
whatever's
else.
biting, anything that's biting. Lately, it's been rockfish. Whatever's most readily available for the short amount of time they have for the trip, they focus on. But that's not to say that it's not going to be sand bass or barracuda, possibly sea bass, halibut. They'll fish for whatever is going to be the most readily available to catch that day.
Unfortunately, last year our trip with you canceled because of the crappy, windy weather.
Oh, man,
but
it was bad.
The good part about that is we ended up on the Island Spirit with Cody Rogers. I made a new friend and had an absolutely great time. He had, same thing as your crew. Guys are walking to each rig, checking the knots, making sure everybody's on track. So what's the Island Spirit trying to accomplish every day?
We call it 3/4 day, but it's basically the full day boat. But they leave at 6 and they get back at 5. But Cody does a killer job. Just give you a little bit more range on your fishing trip, more fishing time. You got more time to get up to more productive fishing grounds as far as rockfish, calico bass, sand bass, cuda, sea bass if they're around, yellowtail. But Cody's always going to give you guys the best opportunity that you got to catch something good for a full day trip.
Yeah, I was watching him last summer, and man, he was catching all kinds of gar, good barracuda fishing.
Yeah.
He was catching good calico bass, catching some sand bass.
Yeah, Cody's a G. He does a good job.
And also, you've got a couple other island boats, right?
Yeah, so we have the Pacific Eagle. It's the 4 a.m. boat. When the Pacific Dawn goes back to San Diego, the Eagle's going to switch to overnight so that we have an open party overnight boat. But Mike Mings runs that boat. He does a great job. He's been in the industry for a really long time. His family has been running and owning, operating sport fishing boats for the last, I think, 40 years in this area. Very knowledgeable and good fisherman. So we have the Pacific Eagle, and that boat also has bunks. So it's good for a 4 a.m. because you got a bunk to sleep in on the way out. And then we have a new owner for the Pacific Dawn, which is the other overnight boat at the landing. Mike Loust, he has a lot of long-range experience. He just took over the Pacific Dawn this year, and seems like he's doing a great job, and he's trying really hard. And they already caught some sea bass on one of their trips, and seems like he's going to be doing really good up this way. So since we're chartered every day, the best option, I think, shot at catching the sea bass or just coming out to have a good time for overnight fishing would be the Pacific Dawn.
Right, and I've heard same thing about both those rigs. Great customer
Yeah.
service. It's just a part of the fabric of your landing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Try to have good boats and offer a good product as best we can.
And lest everybody think that you can't catch a bluefin tuna out of here,
Yeah.
Joe Martinez is on here.
Yeah.
He brought me my blankie today.
Yeah.
He's been taking good care of me, hasn't
He's
he?
gonna suck up a little kiss butter.
He had a 315-pound bluefin tuna on this rig last year, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he caught a nice one. He caught, that guy's been really lucky. He comes out with one of our.
I thought it was skill. It's luck. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's always luck. I get mostly lucky. I was never skill. But yeah, Joe came. He comes on one of our regular charters. They charter the boat for a 2.5-day trip once a month, and it seems like that group always has such good luck. That's what I mean. Is he's on trips that always have good fishing. But like I had a season of a lifetime last year. Seabass, halibut, bluefin, you name it.
Yeah, he did, man. That was good. So, do you turn to bluefin? Do you discuss that with the charter master? If there's bluefin available, do you discuss that with the charter master? Are you open to fishing that?
Historically, our season up here for sea bass, historically, sometimes they bite later, but it's kind of over like middle end of August.
Yeah.
So our charter schedule, with our charter masters, kind of switches over to longer trips. Day and a half up to 2.5-day trips. We have a 3.5-day trip. We kind of do that just so that we have the option to fish bluefin if it's close, or go down to the banks to fish yellowtail, or just whatever. Just gives us more time to do what we need to do. So that's definitely been on the menu last year. Prior years to do that when we slow down on the sea bass.
Excellent. So that's definitely a possibility to get out.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Look around for those things.
Yeah, we had
this year.
We had some really good trips out of Ventura last year, and the bait's been great. The Traveler Bait Company has been getting us some very nice cured out sardines for our multi-day trips up here, which in years prior that's been an issue because the demand for the sardine isn't as great up here. So, but they did an awesome job making sure that we had plenty of good bait to fish tuna last year, and the Dorado bite was killer.
Yeah, I know, man. It was insane.
Yeah.
Just a question about chovy up here. Are you seeing much chovy in the bait?
Right now, it's mostly chovy.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. There's a lot of anchovy on the beach.
Because of the cold water, right?
Because of the cold water, it's just kind of standard. Usually when the water warms up, I think the sardine kind of move in. But this year so far, from what I've seen at our receivers, has been mostly chovy. But that's probably going to change when the water warms up.
And that is a nice segue to ask you, will we catch? You know what I'm going to ask, don't you?
What?
It starts with an A. It has long fins.
Oh, albacore?
I'm always shooting my mouth off about it.
I don't know. Nobody's caught an albacore since before I was born. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe.
Joe Martinez has.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. If you want an albacore, go to Washington.
Yeah, exactly. Tucker, we had such a good time, man. You're getting awful close to the harbor, so we're going to end this interview. But, man, thank you so very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for a great trip.
Thanks for coming out, Phil.
Yeah,
Thank
you got it. We'll do it again soon.
Awesome. Thanks. See you guys.